everyone, and welcome back to part 5 of my F1 2016 career mode series here for the Spanish Grand Prix. As you can see on the left hand side, McLaren, Ferrari and Mercedes have all bought upgrades for this race. We haven't bought any upgrades to this race, so let's see where we are in the performance index. In fact, Ferrari have re-jumped us, and by quite a substantial margin as well. So after all that effort on 3 upgrades to get in front of Ferrari, we've fallen quite far behind again, as well as Mercedes extending their advantage at the front. If you didn't check out part 4 or part 3 or part 2 or even part 1, go and check them out now to be fully caught up with this series. And yeah, speaking of upgrades, actually the reason why we haven't done any upgrades yet is because I'm saving up for the second engine upgrade, which is quite a lot of resource points. So we'll get to that hopefully by the end of Monaco. As you can see, the track acclimatization test, we get a big slide out of the final corner, but we do set a purple lap, and track acclimatization is kind of the easiest one there. It's an easy 50 points. Tyre wear test, as you can see, has gone absolutely horrific. I thought even if you got in the red but made the delta, you got resource points. Turns out you don't. So we got no points there and a waste of 7 laps. Qualifying pace, I think I did 4 laps in total and just could not beat it, not even get the green. So incredibly, this is our grand total of resource points. We gained quite a few resource points in doing lots of laps actually. So here's our session goal for qualifying.
Hi, how are you? I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
So bog standard, beat rival, beat teammate, finished 3rd or higher though. We've only been in the top 3 once this season, so this could be quite a challenge actually, because our pace in practice hasn't been great, as well as FP2 being a complete washout with heavy rain. I think I did 2 laps on full wets before just retiring. Here we are at the end of Q2. We got through Q1 quite easily, and this is our one and only run in Q2. I thought about using the medium compound tyre, but I thought that it just wasn't, it's not one of those tracks where it's really going to make a difference, really. And we go P6 in the session with our best lap to date, and it leaves us in P6. But look at the margin to the cars in front. And we got beaten by Kimi Räikkönen on the medium compound tyres, and Valtteri Bottas for the second race weekend in a row gets knocked out in 11th by trying to qualify on the middle compound of tyre. But Sebastian Vettel quickest in that session. Ricciardo very quick as well, as we start our second run in Q3. At the end, we used our Q1 set of tyres at the start of the session. That put us P9. So we need a better lap on our final run. And I've really worked out how to do this now, in terms of use your Q1 set in Q3 for your first run, and then use the brand new set for the second run. And it just gives you an extra lap to find where you are, and then you find quite a bit of pace as well. As you can see, we are very much up on our delta time at the moment as we come now into the final couple of corners. We've gained quite a lot of time, but where's it going to put us? That's more crucially, we're behind a Haas at the moment, and I think that said P6, and it is P6. So a bit disappointing, really. I thought we could get a bit higher up, but that's pretty much where our pace was. We did not have the pace in qualifying. At least we got ahead of the Williams of Massa, Kvyat, Grosjean and Sergio Perez. But look at the gap to our teammate. My preview monitor isn't quite big enough for that, but see what it was, but we're quite a way off. So we'll have to see what we can do at the race. Here are our resource points. Been quite a few for them actually, but we exceeded our target, but we're behind what the team expected, so explain that. In the rivalry, Rosberg wiped the floor with us pretty much, except we were quick on sector 1, which we have been all weekend. But yeah, it's not too bad. Driver position's not going to be good, given that we failed both of these objectives. So back in the green, and I think it's time for our race goals now.
Hey, how are you? I have some information on the race goals you should keep in mind.
Right, so beat teammate, beat Ricciardo, and I think that's 5th or something. So it's time to go to the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. What can we achieve in this race? We've won 2 races already this season, so what can we do?
Good afternoon from a very familiar setting. It's race day here in Spain, and with everything still to play for in the championship battle, there's no room for mistakes in a Grand Prix that's well known for creating them. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9.
Looking down at this grid today, I think we're going to see one or two drivers making a move from a long way back.
Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Nico Rosberg completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton and a Red Bull, Massa, Kvyat, Grosjean and Sergio Perez.
So, 140,000 people here for the Spanish Grand Prix, a sellout crowd, and 140,000 people are going to get wet by the looks of it, because if you look at the top of the screen, it looks like we've got rain at the end of the race. So that's something to bear in mind as we look through our strategy. It's looking like, if it remains dry, which I don't think it will, it's going to be a 2-stop. Although with our projected tyre wear from the tyre wear test, it could be a 3-stop. So tyre wear could be an issue in this race as we start our formation lap and now end our formation lap. We did what we usually do. We backed up a lot and made the top 5 wait. So we'll see if that gives us any advantage, because we have 5 red lights. Dump the clutch and away we go. And we've had a phenomenal launch off the grid, better than our teammate and Lewis Hamilton on the right. We probably had the best start on the grid as we're now going side by side with the 2 Ferraris. And we're in the slipstream with Nico Rosberg. Can we go up the inside into turn 1? We're just a bit too far back. We go up the curb to avoid the 2 Ferraris, leave some space on the inside of turn 2. But we've managed to go up from 6th to 2nd in this race. Absolutely fantastic as we're now chasing down the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg. Sebastian Vettel, who started on pole, has dropped all the way down to 3rd place in this race. And I can't believe the launch we had. Maybe making those guys wait on the grid worked wonders, because once again we have had a phenomenal start at the start to a race. It's been incredible as we now get on the curb slightly, chasing Rosberg. We've dropped a bit of time. Now it's all about defending our position. I thought a podium might have been, the podium was definitely the goal for me going into this race, and all of a sudden we're looking at a possible 2nd place in this race, and maybe even a race win. We saw in Bahrain that at the end of the first lap we were able to pass Lewis Hamilton, so can we do the same? We're on the same compounded tyre as we were in Bahrain, although the compounds are different for this race. But can we attack Rosberg? Can we possibly fight for yet another victory in this 2016 season? The proximity arrows there would suggest not, as Sebastian Vettel is starting to close us in as we go down the main straight, as we complete lap 1 and start lap 2, as we have to go defensive slightly, as Vettel is slightly quicker than us in a straight line and DRS hasn't even been enabled yet. As we can see a replay here of the start on the cinematics, we'll probably see our lightning launch off the line. Look at Vettel, did not get away at all. Even Raikkonen had a better start, and he's on the medium compound tyres. Let's not forget, as we kind of push Ricciardo out of the way, as we've just got so much more speed. And as you can see, no contact at all between me and the 2 Ferraris, although I think that was Raikkonen that lost quite a lot of ground, as there may have been contact between Sebastian Vettel and him. Let's have a look on the point of view from our pole sitter, Sebastian Vettel, and you can just see it in the mirrors. There's Rosberg flying by. You can see Raikkonen in the mirrors and Lewis Hamilton as well. And then going down into the braking zone, you'll see us and Raikkonen poke our nose in. You still can't see us yet, but Vettel gets forced out wide onto the marbles, and that allows us to sweep round, as we can now see the start from the man who started in 2nd place and now leads this race. A beautiful start from the Mercedes, just flew off the line, and you can see in the mirrors us right behind him looking to get down from the inside. But Rosberg, to be fair to him, wasn't flustered, as we can now see the view from our teammate Daniel Ricciardo, and you'll see the lightning launch that we get, and Lewis Hamilton as well. It wasn't a great launch from Ricciardo, but in the 2nd phase he definitely gains on the 2 Ferraris as we kind of avoid the 2 Ferraris. And there may have been contact. There was definitely contact between Ricciardo and Hamilton, but I think Ricciardo came off better in all of that. As we now cut onto lap 5, nothing really happened. Rosberg pulled away obviously in his Mercedes, And now we're going to come in and get rid of our soft compound tyres and put on a set of medium compound tyres. I really wanted to avoid the hard compound in this race. It's the sort of compound you don't want to run, a little bit like the super soft, mainly because the hards are they're just too slow, and I'd rather run the mediums and the soft compound tyre, just like in real life. As we now come into the pit lane, braking just at the right point. Maybe we probably left a little bit of time on the table in the pit entry, but we'll just have to see what we can do. We've got Vettel also pitting with us. Just to note, Ricardo and a couple of others behind done the undercut on us. They pit the lap before, and we have in fact been jumped by Vettel because we had to wait for a Force India of Sergio Perez to come down, and we've fallen down quite substantially because we've also been undercut by Lewis Hamilton and by Daniel Ricciardo. So we've actually fallen, we've gone from a net second to a net sixth. All that hard work we did at the start, we've lost through one pit stop. But we are now actually gaining on Sebastian Vettel in his Ferrari, as he's had a poor run through turn 3. That's Hamilton, his Mercedes that was just in front of us, and we go up the inside into turn 4. Somehow we haven't made contact. We are going to have the outside line going into turn 5, Bird Corner. If you don't know why I'm going to call it Bird Corner, I suggest you try and find Sam Bird's miracle overtakes from his time in GP2. So that turn 5 is going to be called Bird Corner, because I think that's what Will Buxton used to call it. So that's what we're going to call it anyways. We got onto lap 6. We're now right behind Sebastian Vettel. We're still on the same lap actually, and we dive bomb him into turn 10. Keep it within the track limits as well. I was so frustrated at the moment that we've lost out so much. We've even been jumped by Valtteri Bottas. He started 11th in this race, and he's in fact leapfrogged us at the moment. And I think Kimi Raikkonen is the car that's in front of him as we go up the inside of Bottas. There may have been slight wheel-to-wheel contact, and we have got the move stickers. Oh no, we haven't. We've made contact with Bottas, and genuinely when I was driving I did not know he was there. I thought the move was done. I thought he'd backed out of it completely, and I just took my normal racing line. As you see, the racing line actually guides you a bit further out to the curb, and we actually made contact with Bottas and sent him into a wall, and it was completely my fault. And now his teammate is passing us at the start of lap 8, Felipe Massa, who started behind us in fact, but he didn't even jump us in the pit stops, but he's just got such top end speed and came out right behind us. And now on lap 10, a lot of people who started on the medium compound tyres are still out on track, and it has meant that all the leaders are stuck in immense traffic, and me, Vettel and Massa are all starting to catch them. As you can see, Sainz is leading, Hulkenberg is second, then it's a Renault, a Manor, a Renault, then it's Rosberg, then it's a Manor, then it's a Sauber, and then I think it's another Renault as we try and go around the outside of Raikkonen. That's allowed Sebastian Vettel and Felipe Massa back through on lap 11 as we go back up the inside into turn 10, take both of those positions back. Leave it, they left the inside open, we're going to take those positions back. But now on lap 12 now, as we're deciding what tyres to go to, as the rain is starting to come, it's getting very overcast as Vettel goes up our inside. We hang it around the outside through turn 1, sweep through turn 2, and we're going to see a replay of this as we go around the outside. I rarely hold the outside line and make a move around the outside, but we do as we now dive bomb Raikkonen, and we've inadvertently dive bombed Hamilton at the same time, as these guys are all just going so slowly. Ricciardo's there stuck behind the Sauber. They're all just stuck in traffic, and because some of those back markers are actually quite quick in a straight line, they can't get past us. We now dive bomb Daniel Ricciardo inadvertently, and we've accidentally bumped our teammate out of the way, but we've taken 9th place away from him. And just to let you know, we're getting closer to our pit window to get rid of the medium compound tyres, and we've still got cars in front who are still on their first set of boots. It's absolutely balmy. But overtaking Ricciardo, Hamilton and Raikkonen there has meant that we are back into a net second place, the second place that we had. But as you can see, it is getting very, very overcast here in Barcelona, as we've now got DRS and slipstream on Marcus Ericsson in the Sauber. Up the inside we go into turn 1, and we get past Marcus Ericsson, as we're now right behind Rio Haryanto in the Manor Mercedes. This car could be a little bit trickier to overtake than first thought, because of that straight line speed as we now go up the inside into turn 4. Haryanto though, hanging it around the outside. Rio Haryanto giving us a right old fight here as we go through Bird Corner. We couldn't quite make a move down into turn 5 as we're now still behind Rio Haryanto as we now go up the inside into turn 7 through 8. But Haryanto, no, he's going to hold it up the inside through turn 9, but we are going to be able to hang it around the outside. And for some reason we don't, in the moment, we don't actually activate DRS. But we are now up into P7, and Rosberg is the net race leader. He's the first of the people who have stopped once in this race. We go up the inside into the Mickey Mouse chicane at the end of the third sector. We're now going to go around the outside as all the people who haven't stopped yet go into the pits for the first time. We couldn't hang it around the outside of the final corner, but we've got DRS, slipstream, rich revs. We go down the main straight as we're heading now towards turn 1, but Rosberg's pulling ahead of us with his Mercedes-Benz power. We brake late, go up the inside. Rosberg's going to hang it around the outside through turn 1. We go around the outside in turn 2 to give us the inside line for turn 3. Rosberg, though, is still around the outside through turn 3. Incredible stuff as we're still there as we go into turn 4. Have we made the move stick? No, we haven't. Rosberg still won't give up. He's on our outside. We're not going to do what we did to Bottas as we brake a bit earlier into Bird Corner. We'll get the cutback, get better traction through turn 5 as we now power down towards turn 6. We just don't have enough engine power as Rosberg tries to move over on us, and Rosberg maintains the lead here on lap 15. And what an incredible battle that was to watch as we now cut onto lap 17. The rain still hasn't come. Jeff kept saying it's 5 minutes away, it's 5 minutes away, every 5 minutes. So I had to pit for slicks. Hamilton and Vettel have pit already. They've gone for the undercut. And for some bizarre reason, Daniel Ricciardo has followed us into the pit lane. All these guys are going on to hard compound tyres. We're going to go on to another set of mediums. I actually thought about putting a set of soft compound tyres on, but if the rain was really being a bit hit and miss, I really didn't want to. Oh, look at Hamilton there. I didn't want to have the soft tyres burn out on us, so we've gone for the mediums, which should take us to the rain period. But we have been jumped by Raikkonen as we're now going around the outside of Lewis Hamilton through turn 3. These guys all on hard compound tyres. We've got the grip of the medium compound tyres. We're now going to try and get up the inside of Hamilton into turn 4. Lewis, that's how you overtake a Mercedes into turn 4, just in case you wanted to know for future reference. As we're now behind Kimi Raikkonen in the Ferrari, who has jumped us. He's on the hard tyres though, and Raikkonen really made a mistake really. He started on the mediums and only went a lap or two longer than we did on the softs. He could have won this race really, had good Raikkonen, if he'd have done what the Force Indias and the Renaults and the Manas had all done. As we're now chasing down Raikkonen, we're going to get DRS as we head down towards turn 10. We're going to thunder up his inside into the braking zone. Yes, we are up the inside into turn 10. We take P7 and we're back up into our net second place as we're now having to defend from Kimi Raikkonen down the main straight on lap as we go back up his inside. I can't see on my preview, I think it's lap 19 now. And as we start lap 21, I think it is now, Sebastian Vettel is having it goes. Alonso now finally pits for his second stop in the race. We go back up the inside of Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton and Raikkonen did have a tangle, which is why Vettel is right behind us. And now on lap 21, the rain is really starting to come down. You can see there we're trying to tell Jeff that we're going to come in for intermediates at the end of this lap. The car is sliding everywhere. Look at this. We can't keep it on the track. We've gone into the gravel and we're having to block Sebastian Vettel to hold on to P5 at the moment. And this, the guys who started on the medium compound tyre, this is working beautifully for them because they're going to do one less stop than all of us. We are now no longer in a net second. We are in a legitimate P5 because the rain is starting to come down now in this Spanish Grand Prix. You can see we've just got no grip at all now. Whether that's, I think there's a bit of tyre wearing there as well, but it's definitely it's right on the crossover for intermediates, and I was struggling to keep it on the track. I lost so much time to the cars in front and the cars behind. I just bailed. I was going into the pits. It was intermediates, and I am going to be the first man onto intermediate tyres now in this Spanish Grand Prix. So can it pay off for us as we do hit the speed line perfectly, it must be said. And thankfully we're the only one in the pit, so we're not going to get held up in the pit lane as intermediates go on. That's a 1.8 second pit stop, I think, on my preview. It's definitely a 1 second pit stop anyway, 1 point something second pit stop. As we now rejoin in about 20th place now but everyone has to stop for intermediates now. The rain is coming, it's not going away, and we've just got to hold on now. As you can see, we were maybe a lap early, but for us, we just had to pit. And at the end of lap 22, DRS is disabled. It is definitely the crossover now. It is definitely time for intermediates. And as you can see now, is that we've been jumped by Vettel and Lewis Hamilton, I think that is up ahead. No, sorry, that's not Hamilton, that's Jenson Button, I think. As we get back past Sebastian Vettel, as we now need to close on the McLaren of Jenson Button. We are back into our P5 position, which is where our team actually wanted us to finish. So whatever happens today, our team will be happy with our result, provided we don't throw it in the wall. As now at the start of lap 25, we're in the slipstream of Jenson Button. There's no DRS now because of wet conditions. Are we going to dive bombing into turn 1? Yes, we are. We just about have enough straight line speed to get past the Honda-powered McLaren, and we take P4 in this race. As now a lap later, we're gaining on Nico Hülkenberg, and we try it up the inside maybe. No, we just can't make it stick. As we get such a good run, such good traction through turn 4. We go to the inside for Berg corner, but we've lost the back end under braking. The car is squirming all over the place. We somehow don't make contact with Hülkenberg in the Force India as we now run through the kink at 6 through towards turn 7 into and Hülkenberg's turned in way too early, and his side pod glitched off us and gone into the wall. And we've now tried to gain on Carlos Sainz. Valtteri Bottas, by the way, has had an engine failure. He's out of the race. We were 14 seconds behind Carlos Sainz, but we gained him at nearly a rate of 3 seconds a lap, I think it was, at one point. And we're only a couple of seconds behind him on the final lap. As we can see, Bottas' Williams over on the left-hand side. He's had a mare after that contact with us. And we've gained so much on Sainz. We've managed to haul ourselves back up onto the podium, but we're just running out of time. And I think if we get past Sainz, we might get mobbed and murdered by the sellout Spanish crowd here, because Sainz, it is his home race, and he's going to take a podium, and he is going to take second place. We're pushing like crazy to try and gain on him. Maybe he has a penalty. Maybe we can sneak it at the death, but it's not going to happen. Nico Rosberg's won the race. Carlos Sainz take a sensational second. We're going to cross the line to take our third place, our third podium of the season. The first time we'll be on the podium without a win. But what a race that was. That all came from the start. It didn't even come from the start. We had decent pace in this race. We had a lot of overtaking to do. We lost out a lot in the pit stops. And Nico Rosberg gets his second win of the year. That's 2 for Rosberg, 2 for us, and 1 for Daniel Ricciardo. So Ferrari without a win, and Lewis Hamilton without a win. I think Hamilton's only got 2 podiums in this race, so we're having a much better season than Lewis Hamilton, as Carlos Sainz is on the podium. I can't believe it. What a day for Red Bull, really, with Sainz on the podium, and us for Red Bull on the podium as well. As we hold aloft our trophy, Rosberg is going to be very happy. I think he's going to take the lead of the World Championship back, because he's going to gain 10 points on us, and the gap was only a handful of points, really. So I think we're going to concede the lead of the Drivers' Championship. As Nico Rosberg wins, Anthony Davidson's going to give Driver of the Day to Sainz, and who can argue with him? Because Carlos Sainz has come second in his home race. We've come home third. Then it's Vettel, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Ricciardo only 7th. Button in the points, as is Fernando Alonso. Good day for McLaren Honda. And Felipe Massa gets the final point. That Williams not very good in the rain. So that's cost them at the end. Force India go away pointless from this race, and they nearly had a podium. Hülkenberg, if he hadn't turned in early for turn 7, would have had a top 4 finish in this race. That's just incredible. Pascal Wehrlein also had a brilliant race, as well as Bottas was the only DNFer as well. We're second in the drivers' standings. Rosberg takes the lead. Vettel is third. Ricciardo is fourth. Hamilton fifth. Sainz has moved up quite nicely with his podium as well. In the constructors, Mercedes have in fact overtaken us with a bad showing from Ricciardo. We can't seem to get both cars in decent places at the moment. One of us seems to be having a mare, so that's something we need to sort out. As you can see, Renault are currently bottom of the standings. That's a bit worrying for them. Toro Rosso have jumped above McLaren, Honda, and Force India as well. And in terms of resource points, a podium is going to get us quite a few resource points, I think. As yes, it's just 745, but I think that engine upgrade is like 900 or something. So still more saving that needs to be done. In the rivalry, we've had a good race, but yeah, Rosberg won the race, and he was quicker in fastest laps as well. So we've lost out in that part as well. In the rivalry, it's going to be tough to win that back at Monaco, given that's my worst track of the year. Driver position, that's all the way back in the purple now. After a shocking day, we've achieved all the team's objectives. And career score, if you're interested in it. Not that it means anything really. But yeah. Next race will be Monaco, as I think we've got a voicemail from our agents. Let's hear what this is about.
Emma here. I had a sit down with the executives today to talk about your progress. Long story short, they're happy. Keep it up.
That's because we're now exceeding expectations, being in the purple in our driver position, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. So yes, the rivalry, we're going to lose that in Monaco without a shadow of a doubt. Engine upgrade is what we're going to go for next. Hopefully we can get enough resource points in Monaco to bring it for Canada, because that'll be a handy upgrade to have for Canada. If we don't have enough resource points for it in Canada, I might just upgrade, do the drag upgrade just to help us out a little bit, and then we can do the engine upgrade for Azerbaijan maybe. We'll have to see. Because the cars around us are going to start upgrading our cars, and we need to keep up to pace with them in that regard. We also need to try and get to be first driver in the team and get 25% extra resource points as well. So that'll be very handy to get as well. So guys, the next episode will be Monaco. As you can see, we've got a new trophy in our trophy room. The next race will be Monaco. That'll be out on Saturday now, because this one's come out a little bit late. I've just been so busy, and I'm going back to uni in a couple of weeks, and I've got some work experience with the BBC coming up. So that kind of has to take priority a bit. So this is going to go down to 1 episode a week now, as the hype's started to die off a little bit. So until next time, guys, for the Monaco Grand Prix, like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Take care and goodbye.